What's up, guys? Today I want to talk a bit about a problem that NASCAR has and continues to ignore, and that is allowing cup drivers to stink up the lower series. I've talked about this before, but what amazes me is that NASCAR, who is not afraid to try new things or make changes to the sport, they do it every 5 seconds. They continue to allow uh, people like Kyle Busch to go down and take advantage of less experienced drivers with lesser equipment and to pad his stats. Now I know a lot of Kyle Busch fans out there are not going to like what I'm talking about. Uh, they don't mind watching their favorite driver, just pad his stats and brag about it. But this isn't about you or who's your favorite driver, or this is about the sport in general. And NASCAR has many issues, right? But one of those issues is that they don't seem to care as much about their lower series. Now, you have Truck and Xfinity, and they are lower tier divisions, right? There's a reason they exist. In many ways, you could consider them sort of like college or AAA baseball and AA. Probably not to the same extent, right? There is really good, strong competition in those series, but it's still not Cup, right? The whole point is that you graduate from a series and you move to a higher series and you don't look back. Kyle Busch is one of the greatest drivers on the planet. It's no secret. I don't really care for the guy, never did. But that has nothing to do with my argument. And a lot of people have these really ignorant replies, right? To somebody like me or someone else who maybe has a criticism. They'll either say they'll call you a hater, right? They'll say that you're just hating, which is to me the most embarrassingly juvenile, ignorant response to anything because it's not a real response. It's just like saying, well, you're just mad you don't like the guy. Even if it's my favorite driver going down to a lower series, I don't want that. The whole point is if you're a full-time cup driver, part-time is a different story. But if you're a full-time cup driver, you have no business going down and racing in these lower series. Okay? So that first argument in defense of it, of you're just a hater, I have no respect for anybody who uses that as an argument. That's not an argument. It's stupid. Now, the other argument, and this is something I've heard about for years, right, is the idea that these cup drivers, they bring extra interest in these lower series, that more people are going to want to watch or go to these races. Well, I think the past few years have proven that's also bullshit. Show me the statistics. Show me the ratings, how they jump up when Kyle Busch or one of these other cup drivers comes down to stink up the show. Show it to me. Explain to me why the stands are still empty. Where's all the people running to the ticket booth? Because they got to go watch Kyle Busch on Saturday. Another bullshit argument that's been, to me, proven to be bullshit. The ratings haven't gone up. The stands are still empty. Just watch the races. There's nobody in the stands. There's a few people sprinkled around. Who really, besides a Kyle Busch fan or a fan of a particular driver, who actually enjoys watching these races and just knowing that a cup driver is not only coming down to these lower series, but they're also competing in the top level equipment. That's another thing. These guys aren't coming down and saying, hey, you know what would interest me? If Kyle Busch said, I'm going to trade my ride with another driver this weekend. I know it can't happen. sponsors and a ton of other reasons, right? I'm just saying, let's just put all that aside. If Kyle Busch was to say on Saturdays, I'm going to come down and I'm going to drive a lower tier car, somebody who is not in the top 20, let's say, maybe top 15, whatever, and say, I'm going to pick a name out of a hat. That guy gets to drive my car. I drive his car. We're going to wrap my sponsorship and everything on that car. They're going to do the same on my car. So now I'm coming down there and I'm actually handicapping myself a little bit because I'm the greatest driver in the planet, right? Right? That's the whole thing. He's so awesome. Then give him a handicap. We know that this is not like other sports. Auto racing has a lot to do with equipment and a lot of other things. It's not just driver ability. So you're already giving the guy the best driver ever in history. You're giving him the best cars every weekend against less experienced drivers in lesser equipment. There's only honestly a handful of guys in the entire Xfinity series that might have a chance against Kyle Busch. Okay? Those are the top of that level. This is watering down your product, NASCAR. If you don't care about your lower series, it's going to have a long-term effect. Please allow these guys in the lower series to have their own time to shine. If you're a full-time Cup driver, you had your time. Now you're at the top level. Why are you going back down? Because it's an easy chance to win. And I wouldn't brag about, getting 100 wins. He's got 99 now. He's going to get 100. And NASCAR's going to make a big deal out of it, just like they did with the 200 or whatever the fuck they were doing before. I'd be embarrassed to brag about that. This guy's been a full-time Cup regular for many years now. He has no business going down there. And then there's people that tell you, oh, he just loves racing so much. He wants to race every chance he gets. Well, boo fucking who? NASCAR needs to grow a pair of fucking balls and stop this shit. The truck and the Xfinity don't have a real identity. You can't have an identity when you got a handful of Cup drivers coming down. Now, I will say that it's not as bad as it was a couple years ago when you had a whole bunch of these guys coming down every weekend. But you still got the occasional guy and Kyle Busch. I feel bad for these other guys. This is their time to shine. Can't you let these guys have their moment? Can't you let the Xfinity series and the Truck series, let them have their own identity? The stands are empty. The ratings they don't go up at all when Kyle Busch is around. So that argument is bullshit. I'm supposed to get excited because he won 99 now? I don't. NASCAR is just, they don't care. I don't see the benefit. I don't. And I promise you that if it was one of my favorite drivers or guys I like coming down, I would not be for it. I've never been for it. If you're a full-time Cup driver, stay in Cup. You don't see Major League Baseball players on their days off going to play AAA baseball and then bragging about the 2 home runs they hit off some fucking AAA pitcher. You don't see that. You don't see college, guys leave college, they go to the pros. You don't see them, on Saturday I'm going to go play football over here or basketball games. And then, it's just you move on. You had your time. If you allow these lower series to have their own identity and people have somebody they can root for who only runs in truck, only runs in Xfinity. When they finally move up to the next series, now you have a reason to root for these guys and see how they do at the next level. To follow them along the way we do when NBA a player gets drafted into the NBA or into the NFL, and you want to see how they do. These guys were great in college. Let me see how they do now. Would you really care? Would you really be interested to see these guys after they've been in the pros for years to go down and then just be able to play in college again? It's I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just it's not good for the product. Those are my 2 cents. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I have talked about it in the past, but man, I'm just amazed that this continues to happen. And I've never taken credit away from a driver just because I might not like that driver. That's different. That's a personal thing. I can tell you why I don't like a Kyle Busch. I would never say, hey, the guy's not a good driver. In fact, I've seen people make this argument like, oh, you just don't understand how great this guy is and blah, blah. Well, that's the whole fucking point. He's too good to be going down there and taking advantage of less experienced drivers and doing it with top level equipment on top of that. That doesn't impress me. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with the ratings. I'm not impressed with how few people attend these races. NASCAR needs to get a hold of this. Do something. Let people, appreciate these series for what they are. Each series should have its own identity. And they can't have their own identity when you got cup drivers coming down there. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Later.